Hello, this is Max Drake. I'm nice and glowy ready because I've got a bit of an incandescent light on there. Um, I want to talk about this app. This is a head-to-head app, which I was saying I was trying to do a comparative one to what I actually have already inside GlideApps, and I really wanted to set up a similar one so that I could test them both out against each other. While I was doing that, and I just let you actually have a look at the interface of some of these through here. This is what it's looking like, which is pretty much that. Now let's just look at what this, yep, sorry, this is the one that I actually want to look at. Let's just go to the main page of that. Oh, there we go, sorry. So, we're there. This is the main page, so it's got quite a slick interface like that. It's got my summary through there. I can actually just come through here. Now just see how quickly, when I actually do one of the pop-ups, just how quickly that comes through there. So they're just jumping up straight away. So this is on the browser. I'm looking at the tabs coming through there. I can look at the actual database inside here, or it's basically the spreadsheet. I can click through and it'll open the spreadsheet, which is a Google sheet at the back just there, and I can see all of my tabs down here and do all of the things in here. So this is the basics of the spreadsheet of the actual app itself, and I just come back in the pretty view through there, and I just cancel out of there and come through. Then I've got a journal side of the thing, so I've got a thing with the journal, and I've got a list of a whole lot of things that I do all the way through, and I can go in and edit another one and do a pull down on that. And then I actually have an overview. Now on my overview, I've got these little meters that come through and tell me where I am as far as my spend in the month. I've got this chart coming through here. So both of these are actually charts. They're actually reading the data inside the Google Sheet, and then it's creating an image, and then it's loading that up into the Glide app. So that's my interface. Now if I scroll down here, I've got my summary through there. Then each one I can actually drill down into each particular one, and I can put a switch as to whether it's been paid or not. So as I'm going through the month, I can actually look against my forecasting and actually put switches through here as whether they've been paid. And then when things have been paid, all those alterations then come through, and then they go part of the tally. So it's actually an interactive app as it goes, and it's quite aesthetically pleasing. And if we go through to some of the settings through there, we've got a whole load of different interfaces that we can actually put through. Now from the point of view of when we're actually in the app itself, we've got the tab side there. Now I've gone and done something, so it's coming back to there. Again, I'm using some emojis through here and stuff. Now what have I gone through there? No, I don't want that. I want that one there. And if I come through at this point in time, I've got these components. Now this app's about 14 months old. Now it's actually backbones off Google Sheets, so therefore it's got the whole Google environment in behind it. You can use forms, which I was doing a demonstration through on an earlier video through here. This then links through into Google Cloud, so you can actually link into Google Functions. You can also link into Zapier and a whole load of other things. So there's this interconnectability through here. Now you can also put in audio files, you can put in images, you can put in maps, and you can put in videos. The videos show as videos, the maps show as maps, and the images show as images. And again, one of the demonstrations for that is this dashboard with the images at the front through there. It's got some switches, it's got buy buttons, it's got passwords coming in and stuff like that. So this is something that's been around for 14 months, and then I've been kind of using that, the excuse that they're slowly building up from scratch. But even earlier on, they actually had quite a sophisticated finish, and it was quite nicely coded, and they made it quite user-friendly as well. Now, what it also has on its background, and what was actually annoyed me, is I started to look at my Glide apps, and I started to look at the most popular ones and which ones I could actually do in Honeycode as an equivalence. And then when I actually found a lot of them I actually couldn't do, and the ones that I could do that look quite a pale imitation of what you could do of the other ones. But what actually got me quite annoyed was when I actually looked through and I tried to do I came across my COVID one. Now this one here is using the sheets, and I'm just going to go into sheets, and I'm just going to go equals import, import, and this lets you import XML data, it lets you import data, it lets you import a feed, it lets you import HTML, it lets you import a range. You can also import JSON data as well. So it lets you go outside of the spreadsheet and start pulling in information from around the world. Now, we are in 2020. We are not in 1980 spreadsheets. So these spreadsheets have gone a long way. If we look at Excel, I'm just going to do a demonstration through here with Excel. What this one does through here is that I'm actually go and I can go and scrape a website, and this is pulling this data into Excel. I then reformat that data that I've actually got off that spreadsheet through there. Now come back through here, and then I've actually written out the setup for an HTML page. Now I'm going to copy this here. I'm going to Control A, Control V, and Control Save. I'm going to save that the information in that column from the Excel spreadsheet, and then I'm going to view it in a web browser. And this is all of the data from that spreadsheet. So that spreadsheet actually is being able to compile this particular thing. So it gets the updated data, gives the latest information, gives the latest data on all of these things here. It can put in tables, it can put in things which are linking to other sheets and stuff like that. So this is what spreadsheets do nowadays. So they're pretty powerful things. So this is where we are in 2020. So we're looking at something that's quite powerful. So this is Excel. Now Excel then is in the Microsoft area, so they've got the Azure cloud as well, and then they've also got the Power Apps. The Power Apps can actually use Excel as the back database that it actually used through there. GlideApps is one. There's one called AppSheets. There's a whole load of other ones that actually use Google Sheets as the backbone for what they're doing. So within Google Sheets, and again, this is another level that I want to talk through. One, you can do graphing, and you can do a whole load of graphs. You can do charts and all that sort of things, and then you can push them up into your app straight away. And then you can go to another 2 levels as well. First of all, there's add-ons. There's this Autograph add-on, which is a free add-on inside Google Scripts that will actually, inside Google Sheets, that will actually automate a report for you, and it can actually individualize the reports and email it out specifically to people based on rows of data inside a table, inside a sheet. And there's all of these other add-ons that you can do. And even beyond that, we can now go and drill down to another level where we can actually add the tools and we can actually write our own scripts. So inside Google Sheets, you've got GAS, which is Google App Scripts, which is basically JavaScript through there. Inside Excel, you've got add-ons that you can actually add inside Excel. I can't remember where those ones are now. And you can also do VBA, so you can do Visual Basic, and you can do a whole load of macros inside there. So that is the state of where spreadsheets are at this point in time. So we are not dealing with just basic little functions. So when I actually went in and I was actually reviewing a lot of the apps that I was doing, and I suddenly realized I can't do many of these inside Honeycode. Now that suddenly got me a bit bothered because Honeycode is being supported by Amazon. So these are big boys. These are not little people. Now they don't actually have a spreadsheet to start off with, because but they've got powerful databases. They've got an awful lot of coders and programmers and things like that. But if you look at their offering through here, there is nothing that lets you reach out from your spreadsheet or from these tables to go anywhere else. So you are totally locked in a totally encapsulated environment. The only way you can access out of here is via their API. And it seems as if you've only got a call. You can either take it from the tables and push it outside, or you can suck it in from the theme. I'm not too sure of that. But you can only do that with the Plus account and the other ones. Now, this is the other one. So these people have got an awful lot of grunt behind them. They've got a lot of money, and they've got a lot of very talented people who will be working and programs and stuff. So why have they come up with such a pale imitation of a spreadsheet, of what a spreadsheet actually means nowadays in 2020? And why have they come up with such a closed-in, boxed-in environment? Now, from the point of view of, and this is something that sort of irked me at the time, that I suddenly said, well, I went and asked them. I suddenly said, well, hey, look, I'm doing these YouTube videos about your Honeycode app here. Would you sponsor me for the Plus account, so that I can sort of show how you link to the external, because the real power with Honeycode is when you can link to your AWS services. That's where your power is. But they said, oh no, what I got in reply was, we don't have a program to accommodate you, which is basically go away. And that's fine. And if we encourage you to take part in our Honeycode community forum, why? Why should I do that? And also give us some suggestions. Well, I'm giving you suggestions in my video. If you're too lazy to actually watch them, why should I bother to come and do your stuff? And you're not. So I was a little bit irked with that at the time. And I actually felt that was a little bit simplistic from their point of view of that's a solution. Now, when Glide, I reflected on that. I was a bit mad at the time when they did that. And then I reflected on how Glide did it. When they came out 14 months ago, they are a very, very small bunch of people. They did not have the resources of these people, but they actually had a will to do things. And they threw their whole environment open. They said, you get it all for free. We will be going to a pro tier, so over time we will limit what you actually get as a free tier. And at this point in time, even at this point in time, you've got 500 rows of data, you've got this much here, you've got 10 geolocations, you've got branding. When you go to this, which is not a big leap, they suddenly offer you a phenomenal more, and that's just on the next tier, whereas you actually look at the Honeycode tiers, not that much. All they offer you is a hell of a lot more rows of data. But as we can see in this one here, where's my, I've got to go back and find my other app through here. You can see if we just go into here and we go into here and we go and do a lookup, just how fast that is. Now let's just go into doing the same lookup inside here. And we're going to add through there, and we're going to do the same lookup. Look how long that takes. Look how long that takes. It's very slow. Now, again, as I said, the nearest server to me is over in Taiwan for Google. This one's coming from the States, and it is sluggish. So you're offering me less, and you were suddenly saying, we want you as much as possible to come and give us as much feedback as possible. What are you offering me? You are offering an inferior service. You are offering me something that aesthetically quite plain, really, and it has far less functionality. And again, if you look at the coding, if we go to a sheet through here, and we start looking at, I'm going to find one which actually has a bit of code in it. Here, all this clunky square brackets and stuff, and then some of the apostrophes and the way that it does it. It's seriously clunky coding compared to what you can actually do inside of these spreadsheets. And as I said, the add-ons that you are offered, and inside the Google Sheets, this is all for free. Thank you very much indeed. So it's seriously powerful. And this is seriously limited. Its functions are pretty basic. It's sort of, this is what you had in the 80s. That was the level of spreadsheets in the 80s. They have got a couple of cool things through here. I must admit, some of these I do quite like, the filter ones and stuff. But they're not that smart. And that's the nice thing. I think the spreadsheets have been around so long, people can bend them. So what they're actually saying is that we are offering you spreadsheets of so you can do your stuff inside there. But their spreadsheets are so limited compared to what a 2020 spreadsheet is from Excel and Sheets, Google Sheets are, that it's quite farcical, really. Now I am a bit frustrated from this, and I think my annoyance sort of comes out, as you may have noticed, by the fact that I spent 2 weeks really trying to work this. So the first video that I did on this was June the 30th, so obviously I had to be working on the day before or two to actually start getting the feel of this. And then I thought, there's a real potential in this. This actually has a lot to go. But the more I delve into it, the more limited I am, and it's just so buggy, at the fundamental level. I want to move this from my home page to this to my home page. Can't do it. The automated building an app, it only builds based on one table. So if you've got 3 tables that interact with the whole thing, you've built the first one, then you've got to do the other ones manually. So what are they offering that, Power Apps has been around. Now, I must admit, this has so intrigued me that I'm actually got to go and try the Power Apps free tier. Oh, sorry, the free trial period that they do, just to see what they can do. But that's been around for a long time. So I'm not too sure what these people are trying to compete against. It's a very pathetic backbone that they've got, the table. There's no coding in the back. It's limited, and then you can't code and solve and get out of jail that way. And that's one of the things which I actually found in the early days of GlideApp. They actually couldn't do things, so you actually ended up having to go and do a bit of coding in the round to actually get what you did. And then later on, people said, well, "This is what we need to do," and they actually coded those ones in there. And here, you're just assumed to be dumb, and we will keep you dumb. And if they want to grow something, they've got to offer something. And what they're offering, there's nothing to offer there as far as I'm concerned, unless they let you link in with their other APIs. It's so limited within itself. And that's one of the things which I suddenly, today, it was this sort of like an epiphany, was this. Every time I was trying to fight it to do things, and I suddenly thought, and then in the back of my mind there was all this, but I never had those issues with other things. And then I sort of realized, and then you were sort of saying, it's new, it's this. But, Amazon don't actually have a spreadsheet, because they don't have a spreadsheet. But you see, in some ways, that's an opportunity. They're coming in late in the game, so therefore they can see what everybody else has done. They can make it better. And I actually think it's a pale reflection. Now, one of the free apps that's out there that's been around for quite a while, which is the MIT App Inventor, that walks over this. So all they're working on is that they've got a reputation of they've got other tools behind them. And I'll look in 6 months' time on this, and I'll do one feedback on testing the speed of their app against the Google, the Glide app that I actually use. But frankly, I think they brought this to market far too early. They're relying on beta testing of offering something to people that is not worth bothering with. So don't waste your time, is my conclusion at this point in time. So thank you very much for watching.